not to be too controversial, all I'm saying is I have seen femdoms and I have seen office place femdoms, and this is like crazy. And if oh my god, if he was writing this fanfic and he just put in this obscenely racist in here, I have no words. I don't know how many of you guys saw this. Glamorous JP Morgan executive accused of turning married male broker into her office sex slave claims of Viagra spiking and litany of obscene forced acts that made him cry. Now, hold your judgments till the end, viewers. Viewers, please. Something very important. I will give you guys one small spoiler. One small spoiler, which is this lawsuit that was raised and these court documents have now been rescinded for correction. They've been withdrawn for correction. Let's read. Okay? A JP Morgan executive allegedly used her power to sexually harass and abuse a junior male employee, drugging him and subjecting him to racial abuse and threatening his career when he refused her advances, according to a lawsuit. Lorna Hashdina, 37, an executive director in JP Morgan Chase's leveraged finance division, is accused in the filing of coercing a male married banker into non-consensual and humiliating sex acts over months, despite his pleas for her to stop. He claims that she admitted to drugging him with the date rape drug roofies on multiple occasions, and during one encounter berated him as he cried while she performed a sex act on him against his will. It was filed on Monday in New York County Supreme Court by a plaintiff proceeding anonymously as John Doe, who claims he chose to hide his name to protect himself and his family after receiving threats. The lawsuit accuses JP Morgan Chase of enabling the alleged abuse and retaliating against the banker after he reported it. Neither of them have responded. Wrong. They have responded since then, which we will get to. Well, at the time of the filing, or at the time of this article, they had not responded. Okay, and then this is the woman in question. So, let me read you some of the stuff in the filing. All right. Doe, who is Asian, joined as senior VP/director that Mark, and Hajdini was appointed to the team in a senior role the following month. In early 2024, May 2024, Doe alleges Hajdini dropped her pen on the floor next to his desk and, while bending to pick it up, rubbed his leg and squeezed his calf. He claims she remarked, "Oh, did you play basketball in college? I love basketball players. ... They get me so wet." From there, Doe alleges the advances grew more explicit and frequent. Later that May, Doe said in a complaint that Hajdini invited him out for drinks, but he declined. In response, she is alleged to have said, "If you don't fuck me soon, I'm going to ruin you. Never forget, I fucking own you." Twice, Doe claims that Hajdini propositioned him for oral sex in the office on one occasion, asking, quote, "Birthday BJ for the brown boy? My little brown boy." That is an official quote. Okay? I had to read it slowly just to make sure that I haven't gone insane. Let's continue. While Doe claims he continued to resist her advances, she repeatedly threatened professional retribution, and then this continues. Eventually, Doe claims the alleged harassment escalated into assault. 2 witnesses are cited in the complaint as corroborating parts of his account. Doe alleges that Hajdini used escalating threats and racial abuse to coerce him into performing sexual acts. He also claimed that Hajdini admitted to drugging him with the date rape drug and other drugs without his knowledge before some encounters to incapacitate him and facilitate sexual activity. Doe claimed that Hajdini used her executive status to gain unauthorized access to his bank account to track his every move. And I want to skip ahead to this one particular line, which is insane. Inside of the lawsuit, Hajdini allegedly made sexual advances on Doe, which he rebuffed, insisting he wasn't interested. She allegedly removed her shirt, began fondling her breasts, and then racially insulted Doe's wife, remarking, quote, "I bet your little Asian, quote, fish head, quote, wife doesn't have these cannons." I had to say quote enough times to make sure that this does not get clipped, even though that's not how you use quotes, because that is an insane sentence. And then it continues and he describes the Doe describes a bunch of other things. Okay. Now, I read that one for one particular reason, right? Because this post just came out. This article just came out. Bombshell sexual harassment suit against Lorna Hajjdini, JP Morgan branded complete fabrication as John Doe is unmasked. A former JP Morgan staffer whose sources identify as Chirayu Rana has been accused of making fabricated sexual harassment claims against a high-ranking executive at the bank after an internal investigation found no evidence of wrongdoing. Now that's not good enough. Let's continue, because obviously, investigation found no evidence of wrongdoing. But let's continue. All right. Multiple sources told the Post that 35-year-old Rana, now a principal at investment at Briegel Sagemount, is the man who brought the bombshell lawsuit against Lorna earlier this week. Rana's suit, filed on Monday under the pseudonym John Doe, accused the 37-year-old director into turning him into a sex slave. And this is the guy. The British tabloid, now quoting the now deleted court papers. Sorry, I skipped a sentence. Excuse me. The Daily Mail broke the story on Wednesday evening, citing lurid details from a now retracted court document that has been withdrawn for corrections. British tabloid, quoting the now deleted court papers, reported that Hajjdini, executive director on JP Morgan leverage finance team, even turned up unannounced at his apartment and forced him to have sex. She said in a statement issued to the Post via her lawyers, she categorically denies the allegations. She has never engaged in inappropriate conduct with this individual of any kind and has never even been to the location where the alleged sexual assault supposedly took place. He filed a... Okay, so here we go. Let's continue. Rana, who did not reply to the Post's multiple requests for comments, claimed that the alleged coercion began shortly after he entered JP Morgan's leveraged finance team in the spring of 2024. He filed an internal complaint in May 2025, alleging race and gender-based harassment and abuse of power before trying to negotiate a payoff that ran into millions to leave the company. So about a year prior, Denims told you guys so old. About a year prior, he went, let's see, he filed an internal complaint of race and gender-based harassment to negotiate a payoff in the millions. Let's continue. The suit also named JP Morgan Chase as a defendant, accusing the bank of retaliation and failing to investigate properly. They deny the claims. And then here's the interesting part. All right. A bank spokesperson who refused to be drawn out of the identity of Doe said a thorough internal probe by the bank's HR department and in-house lawyers, which included a review of the team phone records and emails, found no evidence to support them. Following an investigation, we don't believe that there's any merit to these claims. While numerous employees cooperated with the investigation, the complainant refused to participate, has declined to provide facts that would be central to support its allegations. This is the part that's even crazier. The Post also learned that Rana did not report to Hajjdini. The two were simply colleagues on the team. And so I bring one claim to the table. You know the meme of this is how male fantasies write women's dialogue? We're going to get there for a brief moment. One colleague described Rana, a former basketball player and Rutgers graduate, as, quote, socially awkward, but someone who met the requirements to remain at the bank. Friends of Hajjdini who work at JP Morgan said she is viewed internally as a top performer. He has tarnished her with a complete fabrication, said one ally who was not authorized to speak to the media. No trial date has been set. The lawsuit remains reportable because court filings in the United States enjoy absolute privilege against defamation claims, shielding media outlets from liability as long as they are fairly and accurately describing the allegations. It means they cannot be sued even if the claims in the complaint letter are later proven to be false or malicious. I like the bottom part. It's like, by the way, this is not defamation, okay? All right. So I feel like it's very important to mention something that I know stuck out to me the second I read the original article. And other astute viewers of this broadcast also probably noticed it. But I'm going to say something wild here. Never have I ever, in my life, heard a woman describe her boobs as cannons. I have only ever seen men describe tits as cannons. Maybe jokingly, in a complete joking fashion, like entirely joking, which means it is possible and or likely that this guy just wrote really racist, like fanfic, like really racist shit about his wife, who I don't know if his wife is even real. I don't know. But he just wrote really racist shit about his wife and really racist shit about himself. She boobily down the stairs as her boobs boobed in the breeze. That's like level 5 chud verbiage, re-cannons. Like, I just don't. It is very plausible. Or she's a girl boss trying to mimic the patriarchy. That's not real. This is a JP Morgan exec, though. how serious are we being about this? Because I have many thoughts, but I don't want to be a downer. Wait, you could be serious. So basically, could be the article representing it as exact words, not approximation, of course, though. No, I'm pretty sure the original complaint, it describes them as exactly what she said. Not even cans, but can, because I've heard women sometimes say maybe like can. I still haven't heard women say can. I still haven't heard that. I feel like usually when women are doing like the dom thing, they say like hits. Her gazungas were jugging and torpedoing all over the place. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think the second that you start reading any of these and you're like, wait, if I didn't know who wrote these, who would I think wrote? When would I think this was written by a man and when would I think this is written by a woman? So let me also include this part as well. This is from the original Daily Mail article. He claims that the complaint that Hajini and other senior managers conspired to derail his prospects with aggressively negative references after learning his plans to leave. A week later, he claims the firm began retaliating against him. That included receiving anonymous, threatening phone calls from individuals that he believes were acting on behalf of Hajini, attempting to scare him into silence. And then one of the examples he lists is, quote, "Just wait till you're back in New York, brown boy." One caller allegedly told him, "You better stay away, snitch." Okay, as someone who's worked in New York and has worked in New York firms and has went to business school in New York, there are a lot of racist people everywhere. I have never seen anything close to this, ever. This is like way off from the way that I feel like racist New York people speak. They usually just go straight to like a slur, like what is brown boy? Huh? Not seeing it doesn't mean it's not real. No, we're talking about how believable it is. I've worked in the financial district in New York for years. I've never heard that. Executives are not normal New Yorkers. Yeah, they're worse, which means they would go straight to a slur because they know that they would get away with it. I'm telling you, executives are terrible human beings. They don't feel like they have to say like the mild stuff. They just go straight into the worst slur you've ever seen in your life. There are worse slurs, probably would say something like tits, not cannons. Like what I have seen very racist people say in New York is, I don't even know if I can say it on stream, but it references a towel. I've seen that. I would be like, oh yeah, yeah. That would be something that a piece of shit racist would say. Yep. Mm-hmm. Of course, she is matching all the patriarchal shit then. Wait, but she's not. But she's not. But she's not, is the thing. Like, okay. And then it gets worse. I know what you guys are thinking. How could it get worse? It gets worse. Chirayu Rana asked for help with his problem from a chatbot. In the process, we can see major inconsistencies in his story. He originally said the abuser was a male. I guess he thought it was better to pick the hottest woman he worked with to go after. This is 10 months ago on the website Ask a Lawyer. He claimed to have ample evidence for his claim and left his name, phone number, and email. Rana calls the boss who gave him drugs and assaulted him he. Looks like he's developing a story over time, eventually decided to make his abusive boss into a woman and also make himself a laughingstock in the process. It's funny to see him talk about his mental health struggles as a result, and the chatbot lent him a sympathetic ear. And it's askalawyer.com, and it says, the title is, I was raped, sexually assaulted, harassed, forced to do drugs by my former boss at Morgan Stanley. I was then, and then it stops, and then it says here, could you share a little bit about the legal issue you're facing? I was then retaliated against for seeking to move groups internally at the firm. Sorry to hear about that. Important to address the situation. Could you know if you've already reported these issues? They conducted an investigation, but ultimately made me sign a separation agreement. Thanks for sharing that. Did it include any clauses about waiving your rights to pursue further legal action? Yes, but I was forced to sign under duress. And then they say, like, have you gathered any evidence? He says, yes, I have ample evidence. Have you already consulted with any legal professionals? No. And then it says, like, well, thank you. I need some further details to help the lawyer. Can I have your full name? Oh, Mayor Cat, go! Yes, yes, Mayor Cat, go! Yeah. Go, go, go. Go for stream. So stream can see you. Go. Oh. Why must you torment me? Fool. Why? Why do you do this to me? Bro, he just fucking goddamn fucking whatever. We can't see the camera. The one time it needed to be bigger. Oh, damn you! Why? Why must you? Oh. Err. Err. Stupid cat, you make me look bad. Thank you. Get in the wheel now! Aw. Look how fun it is when I move the run. Oh! He's not interested. Whatever. Okay. All right. Well, maybe I can switch really fast to the big screen the second that he... on my right now. All right. So anyways, he continues here and then talks about this stuff and then... So, yeah. That's, this is apparently the entire story. It does seem like at least some part of it may or may not be fabricated. He did, in fact, rescind and withdraw the official filing to correct it for, again, quote, mistakes. So fanfic are real. And I'm just going to say, you guys can judge it as you'd like. You can come to whatever conclusion you would like to come to. Personally, I know how New Yorkers speak. I know how, and I've run into, unfortunately, racist New Yorkers and racist New Yorker bosses. And I will tell you, first and foremost, they go straight to slurs. They go straight to slurs. Second, I have never heard personally, and maybe somebody in chat can correct me if they're wrong, if I'm wrong, ever any woman describe her boobs as cannons. Personally. Third, or slur adjacent, yeah, cannons. Maybe other people have, maybe you guys have met women who have described their boobs as cannons. Well, now I have to start calling them cannons. Which is a shame. Cannons are powerful. Yeah. Nope, not one that I've been with. I've heard a vast majority of women say the girls. Yep. Even honkers sometimes, but never cannons. Never in a serious way, more like joking around way. You're just not hanging out with the pirate community. Fuck. You're right. I've even heard them sometimes, weirdly, I've heard it described as torpedoes more than cannons. It's not one specific thing that rules it out for me. It's the all together added up is unbelievable. But you know what? Listen, maybe he will refile or re-upload or however that process looks to fix the corrections. The idea that this guy was writing... Actually, I would love to see, like, literature nerds do a breakdown on this guy's statements. And, like, I wish I could run it through a literature nerd, the way that you run things through, like, a chatbot, and be like, what's the likelihood? Give me a percentage breakdown that this was written by a woman versus written by a man. And there was one chatter that was saying, well, no, she's matching the patriarchal stuff. I totally disagree. I feel like when women are in girl boss positions, they attempt to mimic a different version of masculinity. Of like the tox mask power. It's still like drowned in femininity because femininity gives you power. I know that this is like maybe a confusing sentence or a confusing couple of sentences, but basically, if you want to have and hold, there's like a really good, if you guys have watched Mad Men, there's like a really good section where there's a discussion between the redhead, I don't remember her name, Joan, and she talks to Peggy, and she's like, you will never be a man, and you will never command authority by presenting as a man. You have to present as a woman, and then command that same authority from your position. You cannot, and you will never acquire power by pretending to be a shitty copy of this thing that you are not. Yeah, the character played by Christina Hendricks. And that shit is so, so real. And that's why, like, the female power fantasy, if you're talking about execs, is this. This is a crazy thing to show all of you. This is, if you're talking about, like, the girl, like, the most girl boss idea, it's this.
What was the last suggestion you made to your boss?
I thought the Coke machine should be free.
Why?
Because caffeine helps us program.
Perfect. Smart, simple, and logical. And what did your boss say?
He said no.
Question! Who builds the products of this company? You do. Engineers do. Not managers. They should be answering to you, not you to them. Who else has an idea like this man's Coke machine? All right, tell me. Better yet, can anyone show me? You.
And then there's the scene with the music and whatever. But whatever. Let me say, any woman who has aspired to be a girl boss and to obtain power in a workplace, in a traditional workplace, wants this. Because this is true power. In this scene, this is fiction, right? But that's what I think you would want. As a certified woman and as a certified woman enjoyer and understander, and as a certified haver of friends that are women. This is what it looks like. It's not like dressing in like slacks and a suit and tie and then acting like a man. That's not girl boss. That doesn't exude power. You don't feel powerful that way. This gives you power. This feels like power, dude. You know? Sexuality as a weapon? Correct. Wait, no way. Fun off-topic factoid related to this. There's this 14th century poem about 7 or 8 women gathered around complaining about their husband's manhood. But as of 2009, we finally determined this was actually husbands writing a poem about what they imagined their wives were complaining about. And it was purely based on language used. Speech is real, dude. Speech is real. So anyways, the point that I'm making is women, when they want status and when they want power in a traditional office, do not attempt to emulate every type of quality that men have and every type of behavior men have, because it doesn't work the same, right? It's not as effective for obtaining power. And if your goal is to obtain power, that's just, again, not effective. So, yeah, if that makes sense. Nah, I think women saying, hey there, sugar sack, that bowl is looking thick today. Every man loves this, and it's the exact same the opposite way. Yeah. Couldn't hear you. Lucy Lou was looking too good. Sorry, you're so right. You're so right, King. You're so right. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I'm saying. That's it. Not to be too controversial. All I'm saying is I have seen femdoms and I have seen office place femdoms, and this is like crazy. And oh my god, if he was writing this fanfic and he just put in this obscenely racist shit in here, I have no words. I will have no words. Actually, you know what's a great example of why this isn't true? Or like, not why this isn't true, but why I think what I think and why I'm leaning against believing this. Look at the bimbification fetish guy, Kristi Noem's husband, and like listen to this woman who literally gets paid to dominate men and sissy men and everything else under the sun. And look at the way that she speaks. Let me see if I can pull it up. Whatever. I'm trying to find the recording. If you go back and watch that recording, you will see how like the dominatrix femdom women speak. And it is very different from this. You watched the Channel 5 interview that she did? Wait, she did one? Was it is it the one that I think it is? Or I can't like find that. What? Is this shit been like scrubbed off the internet? I'm so confused. Maybe somebody else who has it can like link it. Oh, it was this woman. Yes. Because there is a video of her that she recorded between her and Brian Noem. And she's like, I bet you love me more than your wife. Bet you love me so much more. And he's like, yes, yes, I do. Which is way more in line than like whatever this. But I don't get why she exposed him when she was paying him. Wait, what do you mean? Hmm? When he was paying her? Because she said she didn't like what Christy Nome was doing. Didn't like Ice. And she saw that the initial photos came out. Because she wasn't the one who did the expose. The photos came out and broke out. And then she said that, yeah, I was there for that. She's a principled queen, bro. What do you want? Okay, but that's all I wanted to share on this. I have to say now, seeing that like he's rescinded this claim and potentially he had been trying to get millions of dollars from the company beforehand. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out. This is just my entire timeline. This is my entire fucking timeline. The whole timeline is just this. When? When does it stop? You know, we live in a mail-run society when all the posts are saying, I would have loved this. Man, I wish this happened to me. Yes. Yes. Megan Kelly says JP Morgan exec accused of workplace misconduct needs to work on her flirtation routine. Now, if any of this is true, this gal needs to learn how to work on her flirtation routine. I'm not sure most guys want you to spit all over their head or their neck. Great takeaway, Megan Kelly. Great job. Excellent takeaways. She's done it again, ladies and gentlemen. She's done it again. Excellent, excellent work. Jesus.